From a meeting at the office to a big first date, there's a lot of pressure to wear the right clothes for every event. But clothes don't make the man. So why stuff your closet with things that only work for some situations? With Mack Weldon, you can build a wardrobe that looks polished in any setting. Their clothing is understated and tells the world that you stay you wherever you go. They craft each piece by combining timeless style and modern performance materials, so you can stay looking good and feeling comfortable from morning to evening. No wardrobe changes required. Browse everything from summer-ready tech linen shorts and anti-odor polos to tailored sweats and crews for a night in. They can outfit you for anything, no matter what's on your agenda for the day. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code MACK25. That's MackWeldon.com. Promo code MACK25.
The weather may be cooling down, but the deals are heating up during the Red Hot Sale event at Omaha Steaks. Save 50% site-wide on legendary steaks, beefy burgers, cozy comfort meals, and more. Plus, get an extra $35 off with code HOTSALE when you shop omahasteaks.com today. From tailgating essentials to everyday family favorites, the Red Hot Sale event is your chance to save big on everything you need to serve up fabulous fall flavor. USDA-certified tender steaks, plump and juicy air-chilled chicken, easy appetizers, and even cozy comfort meals for those busy weeknights. And every bite is backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't wait. Blaze a trail to omahasteaks.com to save 50% site-wide on steaks and more during the Red Hot Sale event. Plus, get an extra $35 off with code HOTSALE at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, code HOTSALE. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details.
Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show podcast, the podcast show where we unlock potential one dream at a time. Today, we have another guest whose journey is truly worth hearing. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Moneyway experience.
What's up, my good people? Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show in association with Believe Network, the podcast where we explore success, growth, and transformation. And I'm your host, CJ Moneyway. And today we're diving deep into self-discovery, healing, and reaching your highest potential with two incredible guests. Joining us today are Michael and Marcey, authors of The Inside Guide. Their book is a powerful resource packed with insights and practical tools to help people navigate life's challenges with grace and authenticity. Michael has been coaching and guiding individuals since 1998 with a deeply intuitive, personalized approach. With over 20 years of experience in Zen sitting, insight, meditation, and various healing practices, he has helped countless people reprogram mental conditioning and patterns and inner peace. Michael and Marcey, welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show. Glad to have you on today.
Thank you, CJ. What a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for having us.
So as we started off, everybody, I'm a little bit jealous of Marcey and Michael because they're in the warm weather while I'm here in Northwest Indiana, and we're finna get 7 to 8 inches of snow in the next 48 hours. But I think and they're 49ers fans, so we won't hold that against them. So Michael, you spent more than 2 decades guiding people through personal and professional transformation. What led you to this path of self-discovery and healing?
It was probably my own challenges in life. You know, I think everyone who gets into the healing profession in some way has some wound from childhood, something that we need to overcome. And those really came to a head for me around age 30. And so it really I had an opening and a spiritual experience that really started to show me that I needed to take a meditative path, a more focused path on taking care of myself. And I wanted to manifest a career that was being of service in that path. So it really, I think the impetus was me getting through my own healing process. And then when I started to make some progress, I started to be more useful to the people around me. So.
You know, that's interesting because I think just yesterday I was talking to my mother about, I got another podcast that I do called Planting Seeds with CJ. And I was telling her that I was working on the script, getting the planks out your eyes, you know, and the specs. And so a lot of times we had to get our own planks out of our eyes before we can get into what you're doing, helping other people get planks out of their eyes. Because if I still got the planks in mine, I can't help Marcey get them out of hers. You know, I understand exactly what you're talking about with the transformation within yourself first. So let me ask you another question, Mike. With the different religions that you practice and everything, how has that influenced your philosophy and approach to coaching?
Well, I think it's given me a more universal approach to spirit. What does it mean to be in spirit? And we kind of like the term loving presence a little bit better. It means that we're really tapped into our own hearts and that we're being clear and present in how we show up. I believe that every person is connected and we're all one in our deepest self. I think all religions are valuable and they're all pathways to the divine, to this sense of interconnectedness. They get there in different ways and they use different language. But I'm only going to bring that in if it's applicable to the person I'm working with, because not everyone has that orientation. So we really want to be able to speak the language of the person we're talking to. And so if we're in a Christian context, we might use Christian language. If we're in a Buddhist context, we might use some Buddhist language. But behind it, to me, there's a universality of loving kindness and loving presence that is at the center of our being. And so we're just really supporting people to tap into that, to know your goodness, and to come from that place in your life.
I get it. How that agape love, how that God love. Hey, Marcey, not to leave you out. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience that you bring to the table.
Thanks, CJ. Well, I've taken a slightly different path. I've always had an interest in self-improvement, in meditation, retreats, always kind of trying to find a way to, I guess, like level up in some way, whether it was career-wise, finances, family, partnerships, relationships. And really, I would call it an awakening. Probably happened, this really deep awakening, probably about 8 or so years ago, when I realized I had everything that one would want on paper, really everything that I could have asked for: the house, the family, the job. So everything on the outside was kind of meeting my expectations, but inside I still felt like something was missing, like there was something that was off, that was broken. And so I've always searched for what that would be to fill that hole. And I thought it would be like the next level of something. And what I was missing, and what I've learned through Michael's work, and then more deeply through writing and coaching and really partnering over the last several years with Michael, is that there was nothing outside that could have filled that hole. What I really needed to do is start looking inward and really come to a place of peace with who my authentic self was. And I'd always been searching for that through the eyes of others until I really stopped and just learned to embrace and love the person that I am, and still have those amazing goals and want the things that I want, but really from a different perspective, from the inside out. So that's really where this work is deepened. And now I'm able to really live my purpose every day.
Hey hustlers, I'm CJ Moneyway, and if you're building a team to grow your business, let me introduce you to ZipRecruiter. Their AI-powered platform finds the right talent fast, posting your job to over 100 job sites with just one click. I've seen how their smart matching delivers quality candidates in 24 hours. Perfect for job seekers like you, scaling brick by brick. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for an exclusive deal. That's ZipRecruiter.com/click. Hire your hustle today. Now back to the show.
I like that. And there's nothing like that inner peace, that peace where you can hear more clearly, you can see clearly, everything that's going on around us, all this chaos that we got going on, around us. But when you got that inner peace, that is something different. I think the words say that it surpasses all understanding. So let me ask you, Marcey, how did your collaboration with Michael come about, and what inspired both of you to write the Inside Guide?
The collaboration was really by chance. And this is where I have to look back and say that everything happens divinely in the right time. So I was a referral from someone that I'm really close to and who knows that I love this type of self-development work. I don't think that at the time, either the referral or Michael or I knew that this would be kind of our partnership future. I was a client of his. And then after several years, I got a phone call, and it's, a life-changing moment, but it was a phone call where he asked if I wanted to write a book. So I'll let him tell the story of the book brewing inside, but it was the start of this amazing partnership. And it just is another like a guidepost that when you're doing this inside work, stuff just shows up and it becomes easier and easier. So all of the things I was kind of searching for that I would get one day, it's like when I was able to really turn inside and kind of let it go and release expectations, these amazing opportunities came up.
Mm-hmm. So, Mike, she said you could explain it, man. So, your book, let me ask you a question on that then. Your book, The Inside Guide, offers tools for navigating life and being authentic. Can you walk us through some of the core teachings or practices in the book?
Sure. The book is basically divided into 3 sections. So the first section is really, we call it finding your answers, finding your own inner answers. And it's about navigating the labyrinth of your mind and really understanding, how does consciousness work? How does this where being work? And our mind is really in 2 stages, a conscious mind, which is what we're aware of, and then the unconscious mind, just like an iceberg. Most of what's going on in our experience is happening below the threshold of our awareness. And so that concept of really understanding the mind is a first stage. And then in the second stage, we begin to delve into the body consciousness and the wisdom that resides in our own body. So a lot of people are trying to figure it out. But if we begin to listen to the intuitive wisdom in our own bodies as a guide and really let the experience, what's happening below the neck, that's what's so much more powerful to really get in touch with. And so that's the whole second section, and how the body can reflect a lot of the limiting factors and unconscious things in our minds that hold us back. So the body will always be a more direct path to get us into a clarity about what's really occurring and how we can transform it. And then in the third stage, we're really going beyond body and mind and really looking at the mystical experience. How do we begin to make friends with the unknown and the mystery at the center of everything, and really begin to live that out? So it's really at that stage, the process of surrender and really just listening to, like Marcey said, what comes our way divinely, serendipity wise. But I had this book brewing in me for years, but I knew I wanted to do it with some help. And I recognize talent when I see it. That was what caused me to reach out to Marcey. I'd worked with her, I'd gotten to know her, and I just felt like intuitively there was something in our connection that was going to create gold, and we really found it together. It's rare that you have such a great working partnership. I don't know, there was a intuitive sense that I needed to reach out to her, and it worked like a dream. So
that divine purpose. You want to add on to that, Marcey?
I have to say the funny part of the conversation is when he called, I've had 20 something years in finance. And so he said, do you want to write a book? And through this practice, again, I got this instant yes. That's one of my indicators of don't overthink things. And so I immediately said yes, with the disclosure that I've never written a book or published. I don't know anything about the industry. And he said, I know. And so we had to figure stuff out together. But yeah, so the way that it happened, looking back, has been kind of fascinating being on this side where we're at a few years into it. But it really, looking back, the order of things happening is really, something that neither of us could have kind of predicted. It's been great to watch it unfold.
I like you guys' theory, how y'all came with each other. It reminds me of a saying that say that 2 is better than 1. Cause when one fall, you got the other one there to pick the one up, opposed to being by yourself. And so, Mike, I think that was a good idea to bring Marcey on your team, man.
Yeah.
So let me ask, one of the key concepts you mentioned is love and presence embodiment. What does that mean, and how can people begin to embody love and presence in their daily lives?
What a great question. Loving presence. So if we sit long enough in meditation, if we get on a retreat, that peace that you talked about earlier, that's really, we call it loving presence. It's when things calm down and we can be in touch with our loving nature and be fully present to others in the world around us. It's almost like a point where we get over ourselves, right? And it's like, I still have to tend to self. I still have to be self-aware. But as I tap into a deeper state, I become more clear. And then the embodiment is like, I can't be a disembodied loving presence. I have to be an embodied one because I'm still living out this life as Michael, as this individual.
Yeah.
Right. So I might be connected to one, but I'm also separate. Right. And the embodiment is where the rubber meets the road, where we really get real about living life and what we need to face and our relationships and our connection to the earth. Really, how do I embody a loving presence? And how does my body change as I tap into that? And what are the sensations and experiences I feel in my body? And so those begin to transform as you do this work and you tap in and you more come from that loving presence. The body begins to respond and change. Maybe, my diet changes because I feel more loving towards myself. So I want to put better food in my body, or my relationships improve because I'm more present to what's going on with the people around me, what's happening in their experience, and how do I show up for them, right? So that's the concept we coined, which is this loving presence embodiment, where you're really grounding it out in your body, not being hanging out in some cloud somewhere where your feet aren't on the ground, but you're living it on the earth. You're walking this path.
Want to add on, Marcey?
Well, I was just going to say, once you experience, and I think most everyone has had one of those, loving, being embodied in that loving place, whether it's holding a child or playing with an animal or seeing a beautiful, sunset. So I think we've had those experiences. What this presence has taught me, though, is also when to notice I'm not in that state and to start noticing and sitting with what really is going on. And that's some of the stuff that Michael talked about. When we think of things holding us back, it's usually not what we know that's holding us back. It's what we haven't paid attention to. So being embodied with this sense of love and purpose and presence walking in our daily life, when something knocks us over a little bit, that's an opportunity to sit to say, is this something that I could clear? Is this something authentic? Can I love and accept this? And it really clears the path for more things to come to you without having to practice overcoming with just positive thinking or affirmations. Like if you really have stuff going on that's resisting a change that you want, and it's going to show up when you're walking in this loving presence embodiment. And those are opportunities to examine and help clear those so that your path is easier. Like this is a life of ease and flow. Like that's another one of our favorite things is life should be joyful. Stuff happens, but noticing when you're off track becomes more obvious when you can ground yourself in this state.
It's really about keeping it real, right? Because like Marcey said, we all get thrown off from time to time. And it's like, okay, well, what's actually happening there? And do we apply an awareness and a consciousness rather than just try to override it, or I just got to get back to my positive thinking? Well, if I get triggered or I get thrown off balance, I'd like.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
Marcey said it's an opportunity. There's something happening there, and I got to take a look at it. So that's where it just gets real, you know?
You know, as I'm sitting here listening to you, and I go back to what you said earlier, you said first it starts in the mind, you know, like it starts here. And then you develop, because you say it's from the neck down, you know what I'm saying, where we have the most issues. And that comes with discipline, you know, like me and Mike with men. So it's a certain level of discipline that you have to get to in order to not be tempted by certain things that used to tempt you back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And so now I have a renewed mind, as you were saying earlier, as I'm listening. And so now it's bringing other things into my atmosphere. And so now it's trickling down to my embodiment, as you guys talking about my embodiment. So now it's changing my direction. It's changing my thought. But you got to think about it first. Like Marcey was saying, you know, I'm listening about, you know, your thought process. You're going through a bad day. And so now let me sit back and think about it, you know, but if I hadn't had this in my mind, you know what I'm saying? And cause we know that it takes practice, meditation, time to get over certain things, but now it can trickle down because I'm in a different space. So I'm trying to get what you guys talking about. I think I see it a little bit, but I would love to read this book to get more involved in it. And so let me ask you a question. You talk about clearing ancestry and evolving patterns that inhabit spiritual growth. Can you elaborate on how these patterns form and how can it be healed?
That's going about as deep as you can go. So I'm really happy you brought that topic up because a lot of times as individuals, we're influenced by the systems we are part of, right? So we have this free will as an individual, but we don't realize systems are influencing us and causing us to lose our free will and our choice. And one of the biggest of those is the family system and our ancestry. And so it's, you know, a lot of people can come from good families, but if there's pain in the family system and things that haven't been healed or addressed, what happens is the children and the descendants that are coming down will get caught in that stuff and it will affect their lives. And so one of the things we start to do is have people notice what's not yours. Where are you living out something that is your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, something in your ancestry that feels like it's yours, but it's not. And so then we have to really look at if something's not yours and you're trying to fix it, it's a setup. There's an impossible task there, right? And so that's where a lot of people get caught in these repeating patterns because they can't get the healing because it's really not theirs to heal. And so once we identify these factors, we can honor thy father and thy mother. We can respectfully not go noodling around in things that have nothing to do with us. Right. And that's a real freeing. It's hard because we want to be devoted. We want to be loyal, but sometimes we're being loyal to dysfunction.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So to free ourselves from that and to begin to be, maybe the first of our line to say, it stops with me. It's not that dysfunction is not going to happen anymore. And I'm going to put a stop to it. And I'm going to live my life in a different direction from that. We can still be apart and feel the love in our families, but it's not being bound to what isn't loving, and really beginning to not have to be obligated to toe the line,
Yeah.
So that's a very deep part of it, that when we get to that level, we can start to really feel more free as an individual, because now we can belong to the system without the system controlling us. We're always going to belong. We can't divorce ourselves from those systems. We're part of them, but it's how we belong that makes the difference.
You want to add on, Marcey?
One of the important things that I learned and that I continue to see is that a lot of times things that have happened to us in our childhood and the way we've coped and adjusted become patterns that no longer serve us. So in some of the neurolinguistic programming tool set that Michael is a master in, you can actually go back again, we can't change the past. We can't change what happened to us, but we can recognize that what we did as children was to adapt to often difficult situations, but sometimes those behaviors and adaptations we carry into adulthood and they just no longer serve us. So there's really amazing techniques that are available to go in and not just remember that, oh yeah, that was a coping mechanism, but to actually go in and change the circuitry and some of the patterns in our software, kind of like a software upgrade to, CJ 2.0, where you're in there and you modify some of these patterns so things just don't trigger you as much. And it really is powerful. And that's like, sometimes we talk about lasting change, because like to go back and just have daily affirmations to try and push those things down is really ineffective. Like really the most effective way is to clear them so they no longer bother you.
Hey, CJ Moneyway Show fans. Coming up, I'm spilling the secret to hiring top talent with ZipRecruiter. AI that works as hard as you do. Stick around for details at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for a free trial. Let's get to it. Try it free at ZipRecruiter.com/click. Use code CJMoney for an exclusive deal. That's ZipRecruiter.com/click. Hire your hustle today. Now back to the show.
You know what? When you guys write your next book, I want to be in the process, because I feel you, like with the generational curses. I did something about that probably a few months ago. You can't control what granddaddy did, what daddy did. You can control what you do. Say, look, okay, if this what it is, then it's no longer going to be, because now I'm thinking about not only myself, but I'm thinking about my generational line. I'm thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about my children's children's children, so now I can't worry about what happened in the past. All I can focus on is what's going on right now. I am loving it. I'm loving it. I want to be in on the next book. I want to be in on the next one, number one seller. Hey, I'll fly to San Francisco and come to a Warriors game. Right. So, no 49ers game, though.
That's where we draw the line. Huh?
I can't do Brock Purdy. I can't. So, Marcey, what role does meditation and awareness play in assessing inner clarity and vitality, and how has this impacted your own journey?
Well, you hit on one of my favorite tools and techniques that's available and free to everyone, and a real challenge in some ways, because the essence of this work is really being able to sit with yourself. And I started meditating years ago with usually guided meditations so that I could calm my brain down. I'm a classic overthinker. I love to, quote unquote, figure things out, which is a term that I try not to use any longer, because it's an indicator I'm not connected to my body or to my heart's desire. But meditation is a tool, even if you start out small for a short period of time. And there's tons of apps out there and teachers, but to sit with yourself through breathing and reconnecting with your body and slowing down your mind really gets you in touch with who's really kind of the source that you should be honoring, this higher self, this connection to what you call, it could be God, it could be inner self, it could be universe. But the place to hear that is in really contemplation and sitting quietly. And you don't have to do it on a mountaintop in a retreat and feel this zing. I mean, really, for me, the benefits I see are having a regular practice. And so it almost opens doors to places that you cannot go to in your conscious awareness.
You know, I've had some meditation coaches that they came on the show. So I'm going to do one for you. They go 8. They count it down. 7. So I haven't quite perfected it yet, but I do know the concept that you're talking about.
Nice. The important thing is to breathe in and then let it go eventually. So.
See, she had me counting. That's the hard part, because I'm supposed to be counting back down. I'm counting up because she said, you gotta let it go, CJ. You gotta let it go. I think I did that with her about 4 or 5 times. Like, woman, I'm tired.
Nice. I mean, really, the important thing is to find the practice that works for you, that resonates. Some people aren't meditators. Some people like to walk on the beach. Some people like to, be with a pet or an animal or do artwork, or I think a quiet meditation practice is available to anyone at any time. And it's a great way to get settled down, especially in those times when you're triggered. The breath is amazing.
I was trying to think. You name some things. You say walking on the beach. Nah, I can't do that. Walking pets. Nah, I can't do that. I guess my meditation gonna be just sitting here in front of this computer working on this podcast.
There you go.
So, Michael and Marcey, I'm getting down to the last of it. But what's one piece of timeless wisdom you'd like to leave with our audience about healing and personal growth?
Everyone out there, everyone listening, you are a whole and sovereign being. You are whole and complete as you are. Nothing is broken. Nothing needs fixing. We do want to engage in transforming our experiences, but you, in your being, are whole and complete just as you are. And you have a right to your life and to your life experiences and to everything you're going through. And mostly what we want to initiate people into is stop looking outside yourself for the answers, that you are a source of wisdom and it's all there on the inside.
Want to go, Marcey?
Sure. One of my favorite practices is when we start talking about life purpose or deepest hurt's desire. We think it's this conceptual question of, what am I here for? And you could spend a lifetime studying that and examining that. But as a practical person, I like the technique of starting to pay attention to things that get you excited. What are you passionate about? It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a guru or to be the best at this or that. It's like really in your most quiet, intimate moments, what things get your heart zinging? Is it connection with others? Is it being of service? Is it writing? Is it doing artwork? Is it doing a podcast? It's like, what gets you excited? And that will lead you to really finding out what your purpose is. And that's what Michael and I talk about, all of this inner examination and paying attention to kind of what drives us really in clearing all those obstacles is to get to the points that we can live outwardly. We all are, Michael and I were talking about earlier, kind of rocks in a stream. It's like, if we could clear and live from this heart-centered, like your deepest heart's desire, then we could be that ripple effect. And we're changing what we bring to the table in this lifetime and it ripples out. CJ, you said I have kids also. So we lead by example, and not what we say, but how we behave. And so living in this embodied place of love and living this purpose is, I think, what we're all called here to do. And that, I think, is what will, move mountains and change the world and make life easier.
Again, I'm telling y'all, when y'all get stuck on that next #1 bestseller, he's like, man, you know what? That's called CJ, because he kind of think like us a little bit. Maybe he may have something to add to that. Because that's what, like Marcey said, I was just talking to some guys at work the other day. I say, it's not what you say, it's what you do in front of your kids. A lot of times you can say things go in one ear and out the other. But if my son is watching me do this podcast, like, man, my daddy out there doing a podcast every day. Or he's watching me with a notebook in my hand because I'm writing notes and I'm doing this. They look at that type of stuff. They sponge things up. So you have to lead by example. They see you as me and Michael, we're men. So they see a man in a presence, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, I have to act like a man. I have to walk like a man and talk because I'm training a young man to grow up in a society, so you have to lead by what you are. But if I'm a grown man with a childish mentality, then I'm not leading him nowhere. Now we go back to what Mike was talking about in the beginning. Now I'm not breaking any type of generational curses because I'm not leading by example. It got to stop somewhere. I'm telling you, this conversation has been thought-provoking and I have enjoyed it a lot. So, finally, where can our listeners connect with you, learn more about the Inside Guide, and start their own journey of transformation?
Yeah, the best way to reach us is on our website at www.loveguidesus, so LOVEGUIDES.US. So Love Guides Us. And we have online, I know we're nationwide, so we have our book for sale on our website, but we have workshops, retreats, and also we do a monthly virtual gathering and we pick a subject. So next week we're talking about self-love, and in the future, how to spring forward. And so we have lots of cool topics and people call in from or join us all over. So that's a great opportunity to connect. We also do one-on-one work as well on Zoom or face-to-face.
Okay. That sounds good. Sounds good. So again, I thank you both, Michael and Marcey, for sharing your insights and stories with us today. It's clear that the journey of self-discovery and healing can unlock incredible potential and peace in our lives. To our listeners, if you're ready to dive deeper into your own transformation, be sure to check out the Inside Guide and explore the practices that Michael and Marcey have shared. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review, subscribe, and share it with someone who's seeking more clarity and being more authentic in their lives. Until next time, stay present, stay inspired, and keep evolving. This your boy CJ Moneyway signing off. We out of here. Peace.
Ditch the other hiring sites and let ZipRecruiter find what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/work. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.